our work within the libraries. It's sometimes not seen or thought of. We do a lot to steward and to basically safeguard and preserve the extensive collection that the library holds. The mission of the preservation unit is to ensure the long-term access of the library's collection.
There are 5 libraries. We roughly have over 6 million volumes. I think there are a lot of things to make the library stand out. The preservation unit is key. This is a unit that supports both the print and the digital collections, as well as our general circulating collections and the special collections and archives.
All of us that work at preservation want to make these things available to people to study, to research, and just to enjoy the collections we have. Currently, we have 4 librarians and about 5 professional staff that work together, in addition to maybe a dozen or so student employees.
The goal is always to keep our materials, our library materials, in the best possible condition for as long as possible. If we are faced with some sort of disaster scenario with our collections, being able to respond to those disasters and recover materials is something else that we focus on heavily. So I am actually going around and recording data as far as temperature, humidity, and light levels, and looking at that sort of over time. We record historical data, we go back and we log it, we look at it, we look for any sort of aberrations or concerns if we're seeing high humidity over time in a given area, or we're seeing fluctuations. We like to see stability in our spaces. We're looking at those environmental conditions. We're also looking for the presence of contaminants. If our HVAC filtration isn't working well enough, if we're starting to see deposits on materials that require attention. Also concerned environmentally with pests. There are a lot of pests that will damage paper and eat starch, glues, leather, other things that are components of library materials.
As to how many items that we've actually digitized, it would be in the millions. Sometimes we think of digitizing an item and you think, well, a book or a paper or a map, but in reality, a book, for example, each page is an image. So a large volume could actually result in a large number of files. Nowadays, most scanning, most reformatting or digitizing, all is done with cameras. As fast as you can turn pages is almost as fast as you can digitize that book. We in the Digital Service Center can digitize other things, microfiche, microfilm. We do larger maps, large items can be scanned and digitized on large format scanners. We can even digitize 3-dimensional objects with 3D scanners. We're able to do just about any type of media. We have student employees who actually do the book repair, who fix the damaged books and do a lot of very technical and valuable work for us. The majority of them actually work here where we are now in the digitization lab. They work to basically do that scanning, that reformatting from physical to digital of our projects to make them digital.
I repair books and make sure that you're able to turn the pages and work with them. We rehouse hundreds, if not thousands, of books in a year. I love that I work with collections that get used. It adds challenge to the work and problem solving, because when I do a treatment or a treatment strategy, I'm working on something that will be handled. It won't hang on the wall and no one will touch it. We use our art history for context. We use our fine arts for reconstruction. Most conservators can re-engineer the works that they're working on, because you need to know how they're made to know how to repair them. All conservation treatment begins with an assessment or evaluation. What's important about this? What is the intention? If we have a teaching item, it means it gets higher use. If we have a donor or a scarcity item, we might think about how it might be exhibited, or it gets requested for loans quite a bit. Then I come up with the best strategy with the curator that will address stabilizing the item. So if we have a detached board, we're going to attach that board. If we have tears, we're going to mend those tears. If we have staining, we might wash paper. We did over 100 repairs on one map. Or it could be as simple as laying down a thread on The Hobbit, which took 15 minutes.
I would want people to know about the preservation unit is that our work, though not always visible, is done with the patron in mind. Really is to take care of the extremely valuable, diverse, and expansive collections that the library holds.
With our special collections, we're dealing with materials that are hundreds of years old. Books from the 15th and 16th century, for example. When you think about the sort of journey that these things may have made over hundreds of years to wind up in our care, that by being sort of an element in the life cycle of a book like that's actually survived hundreds of years of who knows what, war, fire, famine, whatever, to finally come here to Texas A&M. To be able to care for that briefly in its long lifespan, so that hopefully 100, 200 years from now, that item is still somewhere in the world, hopefully here, and still being used as it is today.
We are seeing people who want to use materials a different way. They want the convenience. So it really is a hybrid situation where we've got both the physical and the digital, and I think that's going to continue. This is a really pivotal unit that makes sure that everything can be used and that it's there for the future Aggies, future researchers, so that it can be used for generations to come.